Hi again, everybody. Hopefully we're feeling all right, having finished our first exam. I don't try to make these things too terrible as long as you're coming prepared for what needs to be done there. That said, some of that stuff with number-based arithmetic can be tricky. Anyway, because we're coming off of that first exam, we're heading into our second unit, which is generally considered at least the most involved computationally. I'm going to take things pretty slow here and we're only moving through 2 sections this week. So take it slow, take your time, and get what you need here, where we're moving into Chapter 8 to talk about some financial work, beginning in 8.1, where we're just going to introduce the very rough idea of a percentage, where hopefully you do know what a percent is, but we're still going to reintroduce that, and then talk about some of the ways that we can use percents in our everyday lives for things like, well, sales tax, discounts, tips, as well as some ways that percentages can be used in a misleading manner, some ways that they can be abused, I guess you could say, if you want to be more direct with the verbiage. Anyway, that's what we get in 8.1. And then for 8.2, we're getting into income taxes. And there's going to be a lot of stuff hidden here and there through the chapter that comes up with things like credit and different kinds of taxation and a whole lot of things that sort of build into each other nicely, where we're starting here with one of the big ones. So there's going to be time made here to talk about some of the history of these sorts of things, but the main things we're going to focus on in terms of the math are how you can handle computations for income tax, where I can't perfectly future-proof this because the American income tax system is designed to be convoluted and adjust regularly, but we're going to work with what we have to at least get an idea of how this works. We're also going to see a bit of what is called FICA taxation. That is stuff for a very specific process, a very specific use that we'll talk about in the chapter. And then also we're going to end here with a little bit on what taxes should look like for someone in your position. That is a working student. So, pretty approachable, if scary looking set of topics here for this week. We've got some standard things to focus on as we are getting to work, where we've got a worksheet for some practice with these things, along with deadlines in MyLab. Again, should feel pretty standard as we're moving forward here, that are going to run on Tuesday for sections 8.1 and 8.2. And then finally, we have our week 5 pre-assessment for moving further into chapter 8, but also because it's our first exam that we just finished, I want to take a little bit of time here to mention as well the exam 1 challenge problem. Both of those are going to be due next Monday, where a challenge problem, if you haven't seen it yet, is a chance to improve your exam score with a problem, well, one of 2 problems, that is either a bit more involved than what I'd like to put on an exam for us to work on in class, as it were, while also potentially giving the opportunity to do something a little bit more open-ended and a little bit more broadly thoughtful than what is necessitated by these sorts of processes, at least in terms of the math. So you got that as well to get some points back, but anyway, so I've already said like 3 times here, which means I'm wandering a little bit. It's time to get back in there and look at chapter 8.